Link monsters are a type of Yu-Gi-Oh! Extra Deck monster with one of the most unique summoning methods. So before we jump into ranking all the Link 5 monsters in the game, let's break down what the summoning mechanic actually is. Each Link monster has a Link rating in the bottom right of the card, where a defense value would typically be present. The Link rating corresponds to the number of arrows that monster will have, but those are another story for another day. More importantly for today, that also corresponds to the number of Link materials required to summon that monster. Any other type of monster corresponds to one singular Link material. But a Link monster can be used for Link materials totaling its Link rating. Kind of confusing out loud, so let's look at two examples real quick to see what I'm talking about. Imagine we are trying to Link summon Mecha Phantom Beast Auroradon. This card's summoning conditions are just 2 or more machine monsters, giving us lots of flexibility in what we use to summon it. If we are using non-Link monsters, we would need, say, for example, 3 Morphtronic Telephon to send to the graveyard as Link material to summon the Mecha Phantom Beast Auroradon. However, if we use Link monsters, we could just use the Link 2 Crystron Halqifibrax and the Jet Synchron that we summoned from the Halq effect to summon the Link 3 Mecha Phantom Beast Auroradon, even though we only use 2 monsters as material. Now, with an understanding of how Link monsters work, and how we can summon a Link 5 monster without actually requiring 5 monsters as material, let's jump right into ranking all of the Link 5 monsters in the game as of September 2023. At last, for the worst Link 5 monster, we actually have a 3-way tie between cards that cannot be used in a duel. These cards are Kaiser Eagle, the Heaven's Mandate, Narutoshi, the Darkest Raiment, and Sanctity of Dragon. These cards all have the same effect, that when they attack the opponent directly, resulting in their opponent being at 0 life points, the match is won rather than the game. This would mean that in a best 2 out of 3 setting, you would only need to win 1 game to take the whole match. Unfortunately for these illegal cards, however, the effect also sucks, because an opponent can choose to surrender at any point in a duel, and if they see that they are about to be attacked directly by one of these cards and surrender, the effect was never activated, receiving only a game loss. It's a cool novelty for each of these cards, but their lack of legality, and the fact that their effect kinda just sucks, gets them placed at the bottom of the list. At number 6 on our list, for the worst illegal Link 5 monster in the game, we have 5-headed Link Dragon. Remember how earlier I said it's possible to Link summon monsters with less monsters than their Link rating? Well, not this guy, because its summoning condition is 5 monsters. A retrain of the original powerhouse, 5-headed Dragon. This card keeps its spirit alive by being really good at being a big, hard to attack over monster, boasting a mighty attack of 5,000, and being unable to be destroyed by battle with a dark, earth, water, fire, or wind monster. Additionally, if this card was able to be summoned using dark, earth, water, fire, and wind attributes, it destroys all cards your opponent controls. Pretty good, but it's quite difficult to always be able to summon using only those attributes. And unfortunately, 5-headed Link Dragon doesn't do much else besides being big and wipe the board, sometimes. It even has a maintenance cost of banishing 5 cards from your grave face down during your opponent's end phase, or else you have to send this card to the grave. Honestly, the best thing that this card has going for it is its interaction with the trap card Dogmatica Punishment. This card allows you to target one face-up monster that your opponent controls, and send a monster from your extra deck with equal or higher attack to the grave to destroy that monster. With 5,000 attack, unless another card has its attack boosted, it will be lower than 5-headed Dragon. And because its best use is arguably to not be on the field, that's why 5-headed Link Dragon gets the lowest ranking on our list. At number 5 on our list, we have Tribrigade Arms Bucephalus, a non-generic Link who requires 3 or more Beast, Winged Beast, or Beast Warrior monsters as its materials, the 3 types that make up the Tribrigade archetype. This card has a weird condition where it cannot be special summoned from the extra deck, unless you have 3 or more Tribrigade spells or traps in the graveyard. So not only do you need to gather 5 Link material, which is usually tricky enough on its own, but you also need 3 archetypal spells in the grave, creating some pretty big hurdles to summon this card. If you can get it on the field, however, this card really isn't too bad. Its effect prevents your opponent from activating effects when you special summon a monster, giving them brief protection. But, after special summoning so many times to get a Link 5 out, it may be too late for that effect to be useful. Also, when another monster declares an attack, you can banish this card to banish all cards your opponent controls, a great non-targeting way to clear an opponent's entire board. Plus, this card comes with the nice added bonus of allowing you to send a Beast, Winged Beast, or Beast Warrior monster from your extra deck to the graveyard when it is destroyed. A nice bonus that can be used with Tribrigade Ferrahit the Barren Blossom to draw one card and place one from your hand on the bottom of the deck. Overall, not a bad card, but not the best payout for a 5 material monster. At number 4, we have Firewall Dragon Darkfluid, Neo Tempest Terahertz. Try saying that one 5 times fast for me. The card requires 3 or more Cyberus monsters as link material, which is pretty good materials, considering that Cyberus is the most popular type for links. Unfortunately for Neo Tempest Terahertz, however, its effect is quite lackluster. Just listen to what Distant Coder has to say about it.
Why are people summoning this card? This card's so shit.
Not great praise for Mr. Terahertz, whose effect can negate any monster effects activated during the battle phase. But this negation does not prevent an opponent from activating any effects during their main phase, the phase where they activate all their effects. Thankfully, this isn't all the card does, otherwise it would be an embarrassment of a Link 5 card. Terahertz also allows you to send a Cyberus monster from the deck or extra deck to the grave, allowing it to gain the attribute of that card, as well as an additional 2,500 attack. On top of that, the card can make attacks on monsters up to the number of different attributes this card has, which should be 2 right away. So let's list out the pros and cons real quick because it's a kind of confusing card. Pros. Terahertz is very good at enabling an OTK by basically being a 5,500 attack monster that can attack twice, and acts as a foolish burial by letting you send a Cyberus to the graveyard, such as Mathmech Multiplication, who can be banished from the grave to double the attack of a monster you control, which if used on Neo Tempest Terahertz would give it 11,000 attack. There are some glaring cons, however. The card has no protection outside of the battle phase, which makes it quite prone to destruction and not an ideal card going first. Because when the going second player opens their turn with a Lightning Storm or a Raigeki, Terahertz is all done. Which makes it better than the cards that we've seen so far, but just not good enough to break into that top 3. So taking the bronze medal with the 3rd spot is funnily enough Firewall Dragon Darkfluid, which funnily enough was released 4 years earlier than Neo Tempest Terahertz, and is supposed to be a straight up downgrade from it. So let's take a look at this card and determine why it gets the nod over its supposed upgrade. First off, for materials, this card only needs 3 or more effect monsters, which helps make it just a little bit more generic and splashable in more decks. Secondly, this card gains counters equal to the number of different Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, or Xyz card types in your grave. Firewall Dragon Darkfluid then gains 2,500 attack for each counter, although only during the battle phase, which isn't really too much of a downside because you're not going to need that attack elsewhere. Where it shines in comparison to its upgrade is its ability to move 1 counter to negate an opponent's activated monster effect. And no, this doesn't have to be in the battle phase. It can be in the main phase, when people are actually activating effects. So although its attack capabilities are quite less than its companion, Firewall Dragon Darkfluid provides much better negation, and is slightly easier to make, which gives it the nod in my book. And now to the big boys at number 2, rocking the silver medal, we have Borrelend Dragon, who was actually a part of the World Champion Dragon Link deck, so clearly we're to the good stuff now. This card also comes with extremely generic materials, requiring only 3 or more effect monsters. The card cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, and cannot be targeted by monster effects, so good luck touching it without something like a Kaiju or a Widow Anchor. On top of its indestructibility, this card rocks a 3,500 attack stat, and can attack each of your opponent's monsters once each.
But wait! There's more!
This card can also target 1 effect monster on the field, and a rocket in the grave, to negate the effects of that monster, and special summon the rocket from the grave. Now I know that this card's at number 2, but it is absolutely amazing with its wide range of protection, negation, and ability to summon. It is well worth its investment of a 5 material Link monster. I know it doesn't seem like it can get much better than Borrelend Dragon, but there is one card better. And at number 1, taking the Link 5 gold medal, we have Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. This card costs 4 or more effect monsters, and what makes it so great is that you can use one of your opponent's monsters to summon Underworld Goddess. Pair this ability with IP Masquerena, who allows you to link summon on your opponent's turn, and you have an easy way to get rid of one of their monsters, while making an extremely powerful one of your own. Then, if Underworld Goddess is Link summoned, you can negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent controls, completely shutting off any board they had built prior to the Link summon. And the card has protection, in the form of being unaffected by activated effects, except for ones that target it. Quite unique, but still good protection nonetheless. And the cherry on top is that once per turn, when your opponent activates a card that special summons a monster from the grave, potentially trying to get around the fact that all the ones on the field are already negated, Underworld Goddess can negate the activation. This is an absolutely fantastic card, and certainly deserves the #1 spot on the list. And that's a wrap. All 9, really 6 legal, Link 5 monsters ranked. And with what I would consider 2 noticeable winners, in Borrelend Dragon and Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. Those cards are just insane. Let me know if you have any personal favorites out of the ones that we listed today, or if you have any other rankings that you'd like to see. If you enjoyed, consider dropping a like. And other than that, just have a great day.